Hey guys, see Brett's Reef Tanks in the comments, so I can get the 160 as the person will be buying. Only takes PayPal, not allowed to when something happens. My parents hold one. PayPal is actually usually pretty safe. Usually that's one of my preferred methods when I'm picking up stuff online. Just because if there is an issue, usually PayPal is pretty good at kind of fixing it for you. So that's one thing that I usually try and actually push for. But if you can't, you can't. So that's understandable. How's it going today, Brett? So I just checked up on the Chaeto reactor today. It's actually been doing extremely well, so I'm kind of stoked for that. Will be my next update one coming up soon. Yeah, so far I tested my phosphate reactor today, or my Chaeto reactor. My phosphate's dropped by 0.04, so it's a decent little chunk, which is pretty sweet. I'm kind of stoked for that. So it's nice to actually see things starting to move. It's kind of exciting. I'm still kind of curious to see long term how it's going to compare to the Fuge itself, but so far so good. Yeah. Now, if you want to join the hangout. But yeah, so I haven't had a chance to test nitrates yet, but testing phosphates, it has dropped it over the last couple of weeks from running the Chaeto reactor, so far so good. Still a little early to see how much of a difference it's going to be compared to the regular Fuge, but still kind of curious to find out what happens. However, it has been 8 days and it's almost filled the entire tube, which is pretty awesome. So I'm kind of stoked for that part. And then next other exciting news, I have freed up a ton of space in the sump. So next is going to be coming up. Hey, Bubba. Lucky I don't have a wrench. How's it going, Bubba? So my next plan is going to be, how's the jelly tank going? Jelly tank is going awesome. Filmed a couple of video clips today for the upcoming video. They're pulsing around and happy like everything. I just started hatching some new brine shrimp with that awesome little hatchery thing that I'm obsessed with. So that's going to be not next week, the week after's video. So next week's already published or just about ready to go. So jellies are doing awesome. Not going to happen today, but I have a guy from Jellyfish Art that's probably going to jump on a feature stream and give us some more jellyfish goods. So I'm kind of stoked for that. So that would be a good one. Know if catching jellies is safe. If you live by the ocean and you can catch moon jellyfish, I mean, I don't see why I couldn't. You just want to make sure they're not ones that are going to hurt you, so I'd avoid touching them. But hey, El. Hey, Bubba. Talking about Rico's daughter. You got banned from Rico. Taboo subjects. Catch thousands within minutes. I wish I could. Those little guys are a good like 35, 40 bucks to order in, so if they were free, that'd be even better. When I was actually down by the ocean last, I saw one swimming beside the ferry, and I was like, oh, if I could just catch it, it'd be great. But there was those sea nettle guys that Chris was talking about last time, and those guys looked actually pretty cool. They're like the big long tail ones, which would be kind of fun. I wonder if it'll show up. I'll show you guys. My one exciting bit for today. The Chaeto reactor, if it's going to show up. I only put a couple small pieces in there about a week ago, and now the whole thing's pretty much full. So it's been getting awesome growth, so kind of want to take it out later and see how it is, probably the next day or two. You can't touch without getting stung. Moon jellyfish are pretty safe, and those are the ones with the big bill that are in my tank. Those guys are fairly safe. It's a very low sting, and for the most people won't be bothered by them. If you have very sensitive skin, you might be. What's going on, King of Soul? Yeah, so those guys are pretty safe. As for the other ones, I mean, there's like box jellies, those big ones that could potentially kill you, so you gotta be careful what you're trying to catch if you're trying to catch wild ones. So yes, the cheetah reactor was a DIY. I made it out of an old Vertex reactor I had laying around. I bought it off someone for 50 bucks, so I used that and made my own out of it. Hey, Haley. So the reactor is actually, yeah, no, I'm pretty stoked for how well it's working. The main reason I decided to go for a reactor is to free up space in my sump, because I want to put a frag rack down there. So that's kind of my next little goal. So question for you guys, I've been debating what kind of light to use in the sump. Do I save up and splurge all out and get another XR50 and make it match the display tank? Or do I do like an AI Prime HD, which I figure is another Ecotech brand, it may have some good potential. So I don't know, I'm kind of debating what to do. The current moment, the AI Prime's looking like the best option. Otherwise, there's someone that said they may have an AI sold for super cheap. So if that's the case, maybe we'll go with that, but I've been debating what to do. You don't have to pee on yourself when you get stung by jellyfish. No, you do not. That is actually a bad thing. I don't know how that rumor started, but peeing on it is actually a terrible idea because it will agitate the stinger cells and it'll sting you more. Actually, what you want to do is go back into the salt water, what you got stung in, like in the ocean, and then brush it off that way because it'll help get the stinging cells out without agitating them and making them sting some more. So no peeing on yourself. Bad. Shaving cream and a credit card. Huh. But yeah, so basically what I've heard is the same waters that where it happened is what's going to deactivate it the most. Yeah, no to fresh water. You want to use salt water 100%. So AI primes work great. Do you have one, Bubba? An AI prime? And do you have the normal prime or the HD? Yeah, King of Soul. It's actually good you asked. I actually watched a thing on that a while ago because I was kind of curious too if that was true or legit rumor, if someone just made it up. So that's kind of a good thing because I was curious. So there you go. You're right about the salt water. Yeah, the old school model. So Bubba, you're happy with it? The old AI? Ecotech Light 65 hour grass. Well, this isn't for growing Chaeto. This is actually because I want to clean up my sand bed and all the frags in my tank. So my old refugium chamber, I built the Chaeto reactor that's kind of on the back end of the chamber. And then the whole front area I want to free up and put some frag racks in there. So yeah, that's my main goal of partially building the Chaeto reactor. So I'm just kind of letting it run for a few weeks to kind of see how it compares. And then after that, I'm going to find a light. And as long as it's working pretty close to what the actual fuse was with my 90-watt overkill LED light, then I'm going to go to turn into a frag section. So I think that'll be good. Hey, 5280, how are you? Yes, love the light, easy setup and fully controllable. Excellent. So I don't know how big of a difference there is between the Prime and the Prime HD, but the Prime HD is kind of the one I've been eyeing up lately. I know it has a little more juice than the old one. So is there any other suggestions that you guys have for potential frag lights? I mean, basically anything to work on a nano tank. The tank's it's only gonna be like 5 inches underwater or whatever with the live rock underneath, so it's pretty shallow. So I don't need anything too crazy. There's also the Kessel A80s that are not too expensive. I don't know how they would do for SPS, but again, being so shallow, it might work. Do you have? How many videos do you have for the tanks already? Oh, so I'm running the contest. I think there's only 2 entries so far. You guys are slacking. Get those entries in. I'm excited. And I strongly encourage you to be on the video because both the people are hiding from the camera so far. So get in front of that camera. You don't have to, but it's more fun if you are. So thanks for Bubba. Congrats on hitting 100. Congrats, Bubba. Hey, DC. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm super excited for this contest. Kind of sweet. Like, I think it'll be a lot of fun that I get to give this away For the actual draw, I'm going to do kind of like a process of elimination drawing. If there's crazy amounts of videos, maybe I won't. But if I'm, like 20 entries or something, then I'm probably going to do a process of elimination. I found that one site with a little spinning wheel, and it'll take out a name every time. So it'll add some suspense to it. I think that'll be fun. What's going on, guys? AI Prime HD, larger spread. You can use the extra power for your UV blues, etc. Yeah, I think they'll appear pretty good. Right now, keep it 10 gallon. We'll get a 2-foot cube, A160. So let's keep it a 10 gallon. I figure the sump area is probably about 18 by 18-ish. So it's pretty much a nano tank. I'm sure it's close enough to the 10 gallon. Bubba and Buddha, got both you guys in the house. You guys like the silent team. So have any of you guys used the Kessel A80? That's one light I haven't actually seen in person. So I'm curious if any of you guys have any experience with it. If you guys think it's worth it. It's definitely the cheapest light out of the bunch that I've mentioned so far. So that's one kind of consideration for it. A80 for an 18 by 18. All right, 80's off the list. So back to Prime HD then. So our current runner-up. I would love to get one of the whatchamacallits, another XR15, but that's pretty darn pricey for a freaking tiny little sump tank. So likely the AI Prime HD. But it'll be so nice to get all that stuff cleaned out of the sump or the display tank and make everything nice and pretty again. So it'll be good. Aside from that, other exciting thing, I haven't tested my tank in weeks. If you guys are on Rico's stream, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I haven't tested my tank for over 3 weeks, and I've been like keep neglecting it and keep thinking about it. And I tested today, and my elk was identical to what it was 3 weeks ago, which I thought was amazing. Like that's like crazy stability for 3 weeks. So I was kind of stoked for that. My calcium dropped by 7 points, so I'm from like 450 to 438 or something like that. So it's a small jump. So that was pretty good. Phosphates dropped 0.04, so it's just a small drop, but at least the chater reactor's doing something. You're returning your T5s. Returning to or getting rid of your T5? There, Brett. AA primes for sale on the local forum down here. If they're a good price, send me a link. That'd be great. Too much to maintain. Hey, what's going on, tanks and updates? Yeah, personally, you do get good growth with T5s, but I just don't like having to worry about replacing the bulbs all the time. Every 6 months, technically, you should be replacing it, which to me is kind of a lot of work and just expense. Like LEDs are more expensive up front, but you pay it once and you're done. Where if you want to have T5s, you're spending, a good chunk on bulbs every 6 months. It adds up long term. So whenever I buy stuff, I always look at kind of the long term thing, like what's going to be cheapest over the next couple of years. So it's kind of one of my deciding factors. What's going on, Steve? Everyone's just peeking. I don't know where you guys find those little eyeballs. Copy paste. Send you the link. You want me to do email? Yeah, sure, email it or just send it through YouTube Messenger. Either one works. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. Oh yeah. Uh, everybody's gonna be save me one. Don't buy them all. Sales pitch tell you T5 goes a lot longer than 6 months with plenty of power. I don't know. Everything that I've always heard and said, it's always been 6 months is kind of the point where you should replace it before it starts dropping down. So Raphael, you have the Hydra 26. Oh, what's the other one called? AI Souls. Does anyone have those? Because there's potentially those for super cheap from a buddy. So if that is the case, I might pick up those. So if not, it's going to be the Prime HD. And if it's not the Prime HD, then it's going to be the AI Soul. I want to add T5s to the Radion. If you have a canopy, I would 100% mix LEDs and T5s. I think you get the best of both worlds. You get the nice color pop, and you have great growth. So it really depends on your tank. Air cells are older and non-controllable. Oh, really? I thought they were like the 0 to 10 volt controllable. So can you control the color spectrum on them, or is just it is what it is? Have a white and a blue channel. Okay. If it was $50, would you buy it? Would it be worth it? Okay, so you can partially control them. Yeah, from my understanding, they had that 0 to 10 volts, and I know I could plug it into my Apex and control them that way. That's what I heard. I don't actually have one yet. I just heard of possibly one for cheap, so 2-channel control. Okay, that's good to know. So if I can get those for 50 bucks, I'm definitely throwing that on the frag tank. Otherwise, it'll be the AI Prime HD. Yeah, exactly. So the price is right. Should just throw my 90-watt red Fugilite and see what happens. Probably destroy all the corals. Send them my way if you don't want them. Well, there's potentially more than one. If there is, I will definitely hook up somebody if they want one. I have another guy that was saying he might split some, so we'll see. If it's legit, hopefully. I'm hoping it is. Rico blocked you. That's not very nice. But I don't blame him. Nice. I mean, that's gone. Doo -doo -doo -doo. So, yeah, all my excitement. What else I got lately? Got to go drop off a bunch of pods later, get some more store credit. So, debating what to get with that. I might get either probably another month and some more credit, either another Apex dose, which would be sweet, or potentially my light for the frag tank. So one of the two. So this one kind of thing. I don't know if any of you guys do that, but I have one of the local fish stores that have a really good relationship, and I trade them stuff because like I culture pods and phytoplankton, that type of stuff, and I trade them to the stores, or sometimes I've traded them frags and stuff. I don't know if any of you guys do that, but it's a great way to kind of help support the hobby or pay for itself. Do you breed them? Yes, I do culture pods, and no, I don't have a video yet. People have been asking me. I probably will eventually. If culturing pods actually isn't that bad once you learn how to culture phytoplankton. So start with that, and then we'll get to the pods. But yeah, no, I literally just dump a bunch of pods in my tank every once in a while, and I just sell them to other hobbyists here and there, or trade them for frags, that type of stuff. It's a good way to do it. Make a video, please. All right, I'll see what I can do on that one. But yeah, no, pods are great. I love having live copepods. I have some couple mandarins in my tank, and wrasses, all those guys. They just love pecking at them, and then you just don't really have too many issues with anything. I also dump in tons, like probably way too much phytoplankton in my tank too. So, but I got also gorgonians and filter feeders and stuff, so it keeps them all pretty happy. I want amphipods in my tank. So I haven't tried breeding amphipods, just like the tiny copepods and tiger pods, those type of guys. They're not too bad. They're fairly easy. Amphipods, I'm sure, is very similar. Any websites to sell? No, I don't think I've ever actually seen amphipods for sale. But if you want, I'll collect some from my sump sometime and try breeding them and just to see. Because it might not be hard to breed, but yeah, I'll give it a whirl and see. ReefDudes quality is way over everyone else's quality. Just the editing quality. Thanks, Brett. I appreciate that, man. It's literally only been the last maybe 2 or 3 months when I really started to get into it, but I don't know. I like sell them on eBay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have fun doing the videos and the editing part. 90% of the time I have fun doing it. Every once in a while I'll have that one video that just drives me nuts, but I have a lot of fun doing it. So it's kind of like a just hobby thing for now, but what the heck, right? That's good. I definitely appreciate it though. Thank you very much for that. You culture pods in your garden? Haley, so do you actually culture them outside? There's like a big tub outside? I've seen a few people do that actually. I was half worried about mosquitoes and stuff growing in there, but I guess it's salt water, so it probably would be safe. But there's definitely been a couple YouTube videos I've seen where people have cultured pods just outside. They just take a barrel full of salt water and dump in a bunch of algae and put some glass on top and let the sun just kind of bake it in. And apparently that's worked pretty well. So I haven't tried that, but seems like it's working for Haley. So that could be a super easy way to do it. Not like throw videos here, scrap everything, tails perfect. Yes. Okay. That first jellyfish tank video, I shot that stupid video 4 times. That was like the nemesis of me. I don't know why. I just didn't like it every single one. I had to redo it. So yes, but normally I'm getting better for the most part at getting videos in shorter amount of time, so it doesn't completely consume my life. But it'll be good. Yeah, Haley, gotta make some videos too. But no, it's definitely, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. This hobby has so many little different aspects of it. I had another buddy who was doing rotifers for a while because he was trying to breed clownfish. So I'm pretty sure I have rotifers mixed with my pods too, because I get a culture off him at one point and just kind of dumps them into the mix. So it's a bit of a special blend of pods, but if you dump into the tank, you can see the fish that have this big crazy feeding frenzy. It is kind of crazy actually how thick it is. A while ago I did a video, I put them under a microscope, just out of kind of curiosity, and it's amazing how many copepods are actually in there. Do pods kill each other if mixed? I don't know for sure. Some potentially could. I know I definitely have a ton of different pods mixed in mine because I've bought 3 or 4 different cultures and basically just mixed them all together. So I personally have not had an issue that I know of. I mean, I very well could have lost a ton and it's down to 1 or 2 species, but I know if I look in there and like suck some out, like the turkey baster, you can just see there's just like hundreds in there. So there's tons and tons in there, which is great. So that part's made me happy. Let's see if I can find the video because a while ago I did put them under the microscope. It was actually pretty cool to see. Give me 2 secs of searching to see if I can find that one. Because it was really cool to see how many were in there. It was one of my old YouTube videos from a while back.
Hey guys, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to see if
Okay,
we can
so
take a
check this
video
out.
and see how dense the pod culture is now. There's tons and tons in there, and I think it's actually super cool to see.
Not the video I'm
So let's
thinking
see if
of,
the
but
camera can
it's a different
focus
one.
on it. And I put a light underneath it, which will hopefully show it. Focus in.
Yeah, so okay, pause it. So I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but like there's all the big dots, and every single one, there's like thousands of these little tiny dots, and each one of those is a pod. It's like crazy how many are in there. Yeah, it's just like hundreds of thousands in just one little bottle. Like it amazes me. Yeah, culturing Fido is pretty easy. The biggest thing with Fido is you just have to be super sterile. So all your containers, some people sterilize the water. I haven't done that. I find you're good for a couple batches before the culture will crash. So every couple batches, I'll take it out and like re-sterilize everything and then kind of put it back in. And the other thing you got to do too, if you don't have your starter culture dark enough, it will crash. And if you leave it too long, it's too dark, it'll crash. So it's kind of this balancing act where after about a week, you got to split it or else your culture is going to start going downhill. So there's a couple of weird kind of caveats to it, but it's just like anything, it's a bit of a learning game to do it. Just let Mother Nature do it. So you let yours just sit outside in the sun, Haley? It's free light. It's a good way to do it. Yep, sterilize everything. Try to find the other video I had about under the microscope of pods, but here you go. Here's another little interesting one. This was under a 200 times microscope. See how little pods going around. So it's kind of cool to actually see what they look like when you're up close and personal. But yeah, you can see the difference in size. Like that's one of the bigger pods. And then you can see these little dots around it are all super tiny, little teeny tiny pods, which is kind of neat. And this is all literally in like a drop of water. Like this is like less like my pinky nail, if not, or smaller. Tiny little drop of water, just how many pods are actually inside of it. So I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's one of those little random things I like to experiment with once in a while. It's kind of fun to also see how like dense and deep the culture is. Give me 1 sec. Pod breeders, heck yeah. I don't know. Pods are so good for your tank. If you already have a sump full of them, you're doing great. But otherwise, I mean, looking into breeding your own is a great way to do it. You can buy pods too, and if you dose phytoplankton into your tank, you'll help them breed more too. So they'll be pretty happy if you do it that way. There's a bunch of different ways you can kind of do it. Don't do anything. Dump phyto in once a week. That's it. Yep. So phyto is definitely their main food source. I've seen other people use stuff like different kind of like algae powders and biospira, not spira, not the bacteria, but there's another one. But there's a bunch of different kind of powders and different algae stuff you can do. Bubbler, you don't need it. I use a very slow bubbler just to put a bit of oxygen into the water, but it's very slow, like literally just bubble. But you do need to feed them quite a bit. So if you are going to do pods, you definitely got to make them happy. But I know if I dump a bunch of phyto in there within a few days, the water's almost clear again. Like they're hungry little guys, especially when you get a really dense culture on the go. And that's kind of one way to see is just how quick your pods disappear. That's kind of a funky way to do it. Reef Central Orlando Forum. One guy has 3, another guy has 2. They still have them this morning. Reef Central. Can't even look that up. So Reef Central AI Prime. Orlando Forum. They seem to be gone now. Oh, rats. They sold quick. They must have been a good deal. I'm actually searching the forum now because I'm curious. Dose Phyto. Yes. I feel it was like $50. Yeah, $50 is a really good deal. I had sweet. Well, I can get the new primes. They're not bad. They're like 260, $300, so they're not cheap. It helps keep your pod population thriving. Yes, it does. So Haley, do you dose phytoplankton to your tank? I'm curious. I don't know. I kind of randomly do it. Like I think I dumped just a couple hundred mils in every once in a while. My tank's cloudy for a while, and it clears up really nice afterwards. There was an interesting thread a little while ago about clarifying your water by dosing phytoplankton. Like it was Reef Central, Reef, one of the two. But they're actually talking about how dumping it in will absorb a bunch of nutrients and actually help keep your water cleaner or happier. So it's kind of interesting. So I don't do it consistently. I probably should, but yeah, I have a bunch of bottles in my fridge and just randomly add it all the time. Usually try and dump it right on top of the Gargonians or the filter feeder type stuff. Phytofeast, yes. Phytofeast works well. If you do want to start growing your own phytoplankton, there is a live version of Phytofeast, and that's the one with the black lid. So the white lid is a dead version, and the black lid is more expensive, but it's a live version. So you could use that to start culturing your own if you want to give it a whirl. But you also need some kind of like a fertilizer for it. There is one called Fritz F2 or Fritz Algae Grow. There's like an F2 from Florida Aqua Farms. I have heard some people using Miracle Grow, but that's also going to add a bunch of phosphates and nitrates to the mix, which I don't really want to be dosing back my tank, so I've used the proper aquarium ones. Just buying that culturing pods. Yep, you could buy that and use that to feed your pods, and they will grow in there. Just keep them fed and happy, and you should be good. Only your fuge displays daisy chained onto the sump, and the fuge gets hit first. Okay, I just dump it right into the display tank, but half the time my dosing stuff goes right into the return pump area. So, same thing. But yeah, it makes sense to dump it into the fuge frag tank area. Good light for under $160. Getting the F2. No, I agree. Brett, what size of tank? You know, I don't know if they're good, but speaking of cheap lights, I was actually looking on Amazon today, and they had it's like super cheap LEDs from China ones or whatever, and they actually look decent for like the price. Like there's some of these guys like $160. This is Amazon.ca. Here, let's go to US. I think you're in the States. Yeah, like $100. So, I mean, tons of good reviews on some of these guys for $130. I think this is the one that's programmable for $30 more. But $130, 76 4.5 star reviews. I would honestly almost be tempted to try this. Like if you can get like AI primes and other ones, they look super nice and they're tiny. I mean, this one's a little bigger and bulkier, but for the, half the price, some good potential there. So haven't personally used them, but I was actually looking at them, reading reviews, and I was trying to search for kind of a cheap frag light earlier. So lots of good reviews on it. There's potential there. Yes, yes, they are, especially the name brand ones. Uh, so AccuTV use RG Complete to not worry about having to culture Phyto since I just started raising rototurs, but maybe in the future I'll try culture my own. Yeah, it's not bad. I haven't heard of RG Complete, but it sounds like it's kind of a Phyto brand, I'm guessing. RG Complete, Aquabreed Hatchery Solutions. Okay, so that's like a nice dense phytoplankton blend. Give me one sec. I use A60 for 160, but can't open a PayPal to buy it. Uh, the 160s, haven't personally used them, but lots of people seem to really love their Kessels. I got one for cheap. I'd probably be all over it and try to give it a whirl. One sec, just checking. Someone's supposed to be swinging by in a few. Pay to debit credit card, Brett. Yeah, you can buy prepaid debit credit cards, which might work, and use that for PayPal. Maybe another option for you. Good topics. Welcome, AccuTV. AccuTV, I'm gonna have to check out your channel later too. Jamie 13, so I get my own parents. PayPal got hacked a few years ago. Ah, that's no fun. Bubba, I can't open a PayPal. Could always just, it's a little riskier, but I mean, you could always send somebody cash or do something that way. But yeah, it's definitely riskier. Banggai cardinals are holding, so I might try and harvest them and try suspended frozen rotor for feed. Uh, Haley, have you actually seen babies from your Banggais yet? Mine have had like babies in the mouth like 3 or 4 times now, but they haven't got to the baby stage. I don't know if they swallow them or spit them out, but hopefully one of these days they will actually do it. Let me just check and see if I got that link. I haven't actually checked yet. Did you send it through YouTube or Gmail, or where did you send it through, Pete? Yeah, so hopefully one of these days. They keep the babies in their mouth for about 30 days, I believe, on average. But so far, yeah, I've seen them do it for a couple of weeks, but not the full month. I really hope they do one day, but I know it takes them a while. Like when they're first starting out, they won't have the eggs the whole time, and it takes them a few tries to finally get it right. But hopefully one of these days they'll get in there. It'll be pretty good. I don't know. Be kind of excited. I was thinking too because in nature, the bang guys will put their babies out and they'll hide in the long tentacle urchins. So I think I was thinking about doing is taking some aquascaping putty and some black zip ties and just make like a makeshift urchin type of thing. So give the baby somewhere to hide. It'd be easy to collect them if you want to put them somewhere else too. Yeah, so pajama cardinals hold all the time, but also split them. Yeah, it must be a cardinal thing. I don't know. One day, hopefully they'll make it. It could just be because there's so many other fish in the tank too. They're getting stressed out from all the moving, or they're just, not fattened up enough and they get hungry. It's hard to say. No, because I'm sketchy for Minecraft. Yeah, I know it's a little harder. I mean, there is definitely other payment solutions, but PayPal for me, has been one of the safer ones. Makes you perfect to the tank. Nice. What'd you make your urchin out of, Haley? Did you go with the zip tie route? Seems like one of the easier ones. I don't know. I think if I did get them to hatch, if I got the makeshift urchin, I'd probably do that and then try and put them in the sump afterwards where they can have lots of pods to feed on and hopefully grow out after that point. So they'd be a little safer down there, I think. I'd have to do some kind of something so they couldn't get sucked over the overflow area, but I think it'd work out overall. It would be a pretty good setup if they actually made it. So hopefully one of these days. Only way except horror story for Brent. Yeah, no kidding, Brett. That sucks. Your poor parents. I kind of understand why now. But on the flip side, maybe you can find somebody locally to buy something off of. I don't know how big of a reefing community you have in your area, but local is always the easier way to do it if you can. That's kind of even with corals now. Like I still become sketchy about buying corals online because I've had a bunch of times where you buy something and it shows up and it's like nothing like the picture. You're like, oh, that Zoa looked amazing and it's so colorful. Then you get it, you're like, oh, that's not as exciting. That was overly priced. Buy local, take your dad with you. Yeah, exactly. I would just keep an eye out on local forums or cast like your classified type sites. The odds are someone's shutting down a tank. That's usually a great time to buy stuff. Like some of my best stuff has come from people shutting down their tank because then you can pick up equipment for super cheap. Like same thing, one guy shutting down. I got my Fuge light off him. I got giant, like my max cap 5 stage RODI unit, like all that kind of stuff. So tons of good stuff you can get from tank shutdowns. So that's probably one of your best places to look, at least for me. Worldwide Coral is a good place to buy online. Pictures match the corals, but they're a bit on the expensive side. Yeah, they're a little pricey. So I don't know. I've kind of partially given up a little bit on the online buying. Like I still will. Same thing. Like there was a group buy the other day, and I just bought a couple of overly priced Zoas, but they were like they're not bad, but they're like so tiny. They're like the tiniest heads ever. But oh well, they'll grow eventually. What I get? I got a rainbow. What's the name? I'm blanking on it. Like blue eye blonde and rainbow something or other. I have to look it up now. Blue eye blondes. So I got 2 heads of that guy, which is kind of a cool one. And the other one was a rainbow something with a little ring. That guy. That's the other one I got. And I got a couple heads of that guy. So those are my new 2 splurges on Zoas. I haven't bought any fancy ones in a while, so but it's good. I love it. Anything free is good. Man, free is the way to go. But yeah, if you have a T5 now, just use it and keep an eye out for something local, right? Like LEDs, T5 probably grows better than LEDs. Like honestly, LEDs give you better colors. Personally, I think it looks better, but T5 has more of a flatter spread even growth. So Brett, just keep it for now. You don't have bulbs. They're funny. I'll get something for $400. Okay, dude, just hold it till Christmas. Just buy yourself some new bulbs. Wait till Christmas. Tell them to get you like an XR15 or something. That's what I would do. T5 is expensive, yes, but if you can get some for Christmas, you only need T5s to last you like 6 months, right? I would look at something like that. Or yeah, like King of Solda said, like Kessel 160 for $100 at a local club, like even that. What bulbs did you get? So the most popular, how many bulbs is your fixture? I know most of the popular ones are like the Coral Plus, I think it's called, and the Blue Plus. Usually it's like the probably like a 14K-ish and one of the blue ones. I haven't bought T5s, looked at them in ages, but I think it's Coral Plus. But it's kind of what I'd look at. Which are my favorite jellyfish? 4 bulbs ATI. Yeah, so ATI Coral Plus and whatever the other kind of one is. Favorite jellyfish. I really like these guys. Blue bubblers. Blue bubbler jellyfish. They're really cool, super active. However, they don't live very long. That's why I do not have them. I think their lifespan's only like 6 months, but they're super active little guys. Like very, very active. You got to feed them lots too, because they jump around like crazy. But they're bright blue, and some of them have funky spots on it. I don't know. I think they're kind of cool. So one day I'm sure I'll give these guys a whirl and try them. I think they'd be pretty sweet. And actually that tank right there, they have it mixed with moon jellies. So if I get a bigger tank one day, maybe I'll try adding some in. But I think they're pretty cool. So one of the ones on my potential wish list. So they eat each other. Blue plus, coral plus, and an actinic. Yep, that sounds like an excellent mix. Through this chat. Oh, so Pete, yeah, no, you won't be able to send links in this chat. If you want, I'm not sure if you're on my Facebook group, but you can always message me on Facebook too. If you're not on there, that's kind of like the group I have on there. So if you join that one, or if you're on there, just shoot me a message. But yeah, the blue bubblers are really cool. The other ones I'm kind of curious. The stream we had last week for jellyfish, Chris was talking about the sea nettle, Atlantic sea nettle. These guys are pretty cool looking too. The ones you've seen in kind of big aquariums, but you need a pretty big tank for these guys. But they have super long tentacles. If you had a big enough tank, it'd be kind of cool to see going around. Been uploading for 35 minutes. Oh, 5280? I believe it. I've had videos take like an hour to upload. Especially if you render it in HD and have a giant video, it takes a while. Took 12 hours to upload. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it can definitely be a while. Sometimes you start it, go to bed, be there in the morning. That's fun though. Uh, 2 6. Got someone dropping something off in a few. Gonna salt bathe my fish. 52%. Super slow, man. Keep the T5s till the end of July. Dude, if you can get one for Christmas, I just wait the 6 months, buy some bulbs, call it a day, or just keep an eye out for something good locally. Might find just watch the forums. Like seriously, the forums are usually one of the best places to pick up stuff. Uh, get a cheap Radion or something. I would love to find a cheap Radion. If I find like a used XR15, I'm gonna be all over it for the frag tank. The sad thing is I had one but sold it like a year ago because I'm like, oh, my calcium reactor has taken up all the space, not room for it. So I sold it for like 300, something like that. And now I'm hunting again, so should have kept it. Kind of that hindsight 2020 thing. Sure do, buddy. T5 at Reef Bright best combo. Okay, Brett, do you have a canopy on your tank? If you do, honestly, do mix of LED and T5. I think that'd be sweet. Thinking of selling my XR30 Pro and getting 8x4 ATI. Oh, so 5280. How do you like the Gen 4 Pros? Like, is there a big difference on the Gen 3s? I haven't had a chance to try one yet. I don't have a canopy. Okay. If you don't have a canopy, for me, is kind of when I like to look at LEDs because I personally like the aesthetics of the whole tank and furniture, like everything around it. So then I like to have LEDs because they're small and sleek and they blend in. They don't stand out. So then I think it's a pretty good look then. Get a 2 foot cube. A 2 foot cube would be pretty sweet. Massive difference. Okay, so 5280. Is it worth it? Like, it'd be hard to justify replacing 4X or 15s, but is it really that big of a difference? Uh, let's get some directions on sec. pop a link. All right, man, jump in.
What up, brother?
What's going on, Infamous? Welcome to the live stream, buddy.
Too much, man. How is everybody?
Doing pretty good. Lighting recommendations, all kinds of fun stuff.
Nice. What are we talking about?
So Brett's trying to find a light for his tank. He has some T5s, and he wants an LED, so he's trying to find something cheap locally. Dev, if you sell your XR15s, how much would you? I'd buy one from you. I don't know yet. It really would depend how much it would cost me to buy Gen 4s. I honestly don't know if it's worth it.
Okay.
So
it's beyond worth it.
It's that big of a difference?
it's-
Ah, no. I was worried you were going to say that.
It really is. So I remember when I had a G3
Yeah.
over a frag tank,
Mhm.
and for me to get good even spread, I had to keep raising the light and increasing the intensity, right, to get good par.
Yeah.
But I still had a pretty strong hot spot towards the center of the tank.
Okay.
With the G4s, that's gone.
How wide is, like, how big's your tank physically?
My tank is 24, so it's like basically perfect box.
Okay.
The difference is with the HEI optics is you get amazing spread and par penetration, and you get less of the rainbow effect with the shimmer.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like right now with me, I'm using the RMS mount kit on my tank, and
Yeah.
I'm running the SPS AB Plus combo from
Mhm.
Coral Labs.
Yep.
And it's a little different from the G3 version because the G3 had a little bit of different channels. It didn't have the warm white.
Mhm.
So it's a little modified, but I'm running that at 60%, which is actually like 49% of total wattage available on this unit.
Mhm.
And I'm getting on my sand bed in the very corner of my tank 250 par.
Oh, so you're getting really good output.
You know what I mean? And I'm getting in the middle half of my tank, like the middle section, about I'd say 10 inches up.
Yeah.
Basically in the center, I'm getting like 350 to 400 par. And then off to the sides, I'm getting 280 to 300 par. And then like the top 4 inches of my tank, I'm getting ridiculous par all over.
Nice. So it's pretty even spread too. Like the par is actually very, very even by the sounds of it.
Yes, very even.
So expensive to replace them all though.
It is, but it's
Dude, it's so expensive.
Dude,
it
okay.
definitely is, but it's worth it because
$560 times 4.
is that how
That's
much the
Canadian.
XR? No, the XRs are like $399,
Well, that's
right?
Canadian. Our dollar sucks right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm
I
I
know.
forget.
You feel my pain.
I
Yep.
forget. I'm like, that's a $400. That's a big difference in price, bro.
That's an extra $150 each. I know it's painful, isn't it?
That's very painful.
I know. Wonder if I can get them any cheaper. I'll keep an eye out. But yeah, that sucks.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
$399 at BRS.
Yep.
I have to investigate my sources now.
And they definitely, with the color change they have done with the new generations, it's much more of a deeper. It's a bluer color. A lot of people have been getting amazing results with the light, but me personally, I love LEDs, but I hate them at the same time. It's a big hate-love relationship with LEDs for me. In the fact that they give you amazing color, amazing pop, but the shadowing it kills me
Sucks.
so bad. It kills me because I'm like I was saying it on my stream too. I'm looking at my green Slimer right now, and it's a decently big colony, and the side that's getting light is like the craziest, most radioactive green you'll see. But the other side of it that's facing me is shaded, and you can see it's a little faded in color.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the
and
shame. That's the trade-off. That's why like the ideal setup to me is T5 LED.
yep.
Yeah. 100% agree. But I don't know. I just can't bring myself to put a big bulky thing on top of the tank. Has to
Why
stay
don't,
sleek.
why don't you just, man, that's what I was thinking, right? But part of me is like, why don't I just like set up like a board, I guess like a runner,
Hmm.
and just have the T5 showing, just like floating over the tank.
Well, you could, but I don't know. I hate seeing the light source too, so having like a big bright bulb right there would be like so distracting from the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But those, because this is what I'm thinking, right? Like, I completely agree that if you have the money, it's worth it. And I'm sure you have the money, right? But the thing is, too, like, there's such thing as diminishing returns,
Hmm.
right? Like, is it that much better that it's worth like $2,000?
I know, right? Well, I
You know
could
what I mean?
depends
Like,
what I could sell my old ones for.
It
Three
it
yeah.
six.
it
It would
also
still
depends
cost me a
on
bunch of
what
money
you're
though.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, it's that sense of you could possibly get the same effect, arguably, right?
Yeah.
You can improve your lighting by just finding a way to do the T5s in a manner that you find appealing
Hmm.
for much less.
Probably very true.
You know, like do a T5 kit's gonna cost like $200
Oh yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
2,000, and you just gotta figure a way to make it visually appealing to you.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
true. That's the hard part. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll be back
I
one
mean, that's
second.
this hobby
I
though,
just gotta
right?
run
Like,
outside.
it's like constant decisions like this, right? Because they're always coming out with new LEDs. They're always finding ways to improve stuff. It's
Oh,
like
never ends.
never ending, right? Like I just
Yeah.
got in this hobby 10 years ago and T5s were just coming out and people were arguing, do T5s grow corals? You know what I mean? And now look where we're at. We're like Gen 4 LED radions, like, oh, we like have like the spheres that diffuse the light, spread the light, blend the light so much better. And that's really cool and all, right? But you already got Gen 3s. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is like, is that sphere, the distribution of light, are you gonna see that much more growth? $2,000 worth more of growth, or
Well, here's the thing. I do understand what you say by adding T5 for sure. If that's an option, that's the best way to go.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But it also depends on what he's trying to do. Once
Yeah.
that tank is more mature with time going by, those hot spots on the Gen 3s are going to be a pain. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's not going to get the spread that he wants higher up in his tank. So he's going to have to raise up his lights even furthermore and ramp them up even higher, putting more strain on the LEDs. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And reducing the lifespan of the light.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? But
I completely 100% agree with you. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is like they're constantly coming out with new lights. Are
Oh, yeah.
you going to see that
Always.
much? Are you going to see that much more maturity in your tank? That hotspot's going to matter before Gen 5?
probably not.
Yeah. It's nice to have.
That's what
I don't know.
I'm
But if the
saying.
price was
Whether
right,
it's like,
Because
you
when
know
did
what
the
I'm
Gen
saying? But
4s
like
come
they're
out?
always going to have something new.
Yeah,
It's always going to be
Mhm.
something new.
Gen 4
And if
came
you're
out what,
constantly
like
changing that,
6, 7, no, like about a year ago, right? The Gen 4s came
Mhm.
out.
Yeah. it's just like a cell phone, man. They're going to come out with Gen 5s next year. You can
Yeah,
always
but
mark it on your
it's a
calendar.
little different. The way that Ecotech has been working, it takes them at least 2.5 years to produce a new generation of a light. But I
Okay.
have been reading up on it too. There's not going to be the upgradability from the Gen 4s to the Gen 5s. So the Gen 5 is going to be a completely redesigned LED.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
kind of
same thing. You
exciting.
can't go from a 3 to a 4. Like a one
Yeah.
to a 2 or 2 to 3. Like you change pucks, but they ditched that with the Gen 4s. So I'm assuming it's going to be a similar thing with the Gen 5s.
Yeah, but really, like, I completely get what we're like. We're all on the same page, I think, right? I think we're all saying the same thing. It's like, yeah, the Gen 4s are worth the money. I'm just simply saying, like, right now, will it affect you enough that you can't
No.
wait till the
Yeah,
next
but
one?
he's got good resale value on the XR15 Gen 3s. So
Oh, okay.
it's not like he's actually just dumping out $400 or $600 a piece for brand new lights. He's going to be able to resell his old ones easily.
Oh, okay. Well, how much
Well,
do
yeah.
they retail for? Because honestly, I've never like looked into the resold Gen 3s, right? Gen 3s.
Ecotech, the Radions actually keep value really well.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do. Like, I'm gonna look on a
Um,
local board and see what they're selling for. I'm curious now.
Yeah,
I'm not
See
man.
if
sure how
it's.
much they're selling them there for, but I know here you can still sell a Gen 3 XR15 for like $300.
Yeah.
So that's not that much worse, you know, like 275, 250, depending on how old the light is.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that means you're what? You're only coming out of pocket for like one fixture? That might be
Yeah,
worth it.
basically.
Well, yeah,
one
exactly.
and a
That's
half
kind of what I'm.
feet.
Yeah.
So
See, this is where I'm at right now. I'm looking for lights for my new tank. They'll be behind a canopy, so I'm not worried too much what they look like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was sold on the AI Hydro 26 HDs, and then my LFS was like, "No, you want the Radians." So
Wait, what was that? What'd she say? Her friend was like, what?
my
Your
LFS, they keep trying to sell me the Radians.
Uh,
I
I
was
don't
going to
blame
go for
them.
the AI Hydra 26 HDs.
Yeah. I mean, after all,
None?
because y'all know I just put lighting over my tank, right? And it's like all the research I've done, if budget is what I'm thinking, I would go AI. If budget isn't really the factor, I would go Radion. They're
I've
the
got
best.
700 quid, and that's it. I'm not spending no more than 700 quid. I don't know what that is in dollars, so
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Like you got to figure out which one fits that budget.
Yeah.
Because then
they
remember
both
too,
do.
like you also need the mounting. You know what I mean? Like that's another
Yeah.
$90 for Radion and another $40 for the AIs.
Yeah, the mounting is one of those things you don't really consider. It sneaks up on you, especially if you have multiple lights.
Like they will live for maybe 6 to 8 months, but actually what they do is just slowly starve them.
Oh, Corpus Kobe just made a video. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna watch this. Okay. I'm
What's
gonna
up?
okay, so goodbye.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Rico.
what's up, Rico?
Hey, no, I had to ban a peak dude, man. He's trolling. He bad news, so I banned his ass. Sorry, Reef dude, but
I
he's
saw
bad
that. I
news.
saw that.
Yeah, he's bad news. Trust me when I say it.
All right.
Who got banned?
That peak. So
But yeah, no, it depends. Yeah, I don't know. If I could sell my current lights for enough that it would only cost me like a couple $100 to buy all new ones, then it'd be worth it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of depends.
Yeah, and I know it might sound like I'm arguing because I'm kind of like I feel like I have to yell because I'm in the car.
No
But
worries.
like
you are arguing, my ninja.
no, it's never
He's an
arguing,
angry ninja.
right? It's never arguing, guys. We're having a friendly discussion with opposing views. That's what it is. It's the only way
I'll
to
just
progress. But like, I completely agree. If you can sell your fixtures at a relatively like decent price, then yeah.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying like, is the price out of pocket worth the benefit? That's what I'm
Probably.
getting.
Probably
You know what
not.
I mean? And I guess that all comes
Yeah.
down to what you can get for those Gen 3s.
No, exactly. Realistically, they're doing the job now. It's not like I need anything new, anyways. But
Yeah.
I was really curious to kind of hear the difference of somebody that had them. Like 5280 seems to really think it's worth it. So I don't know. If it costs
Just
me a
for
couple
spread
$100 in the end, yeah.
Just for spread, you know, the extra channel with the warm whites isn't going to make a big difference,
Hmm.
but the spread of the par definitely makes a big impact, knowing that back in the day, a spot in your tank that would get 150 par with the Gen 4s will get 250 par. That's a big difference,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Hmm.
In the same spot, same height, same density.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Like my tank's fairly narrow. Like it's only 20 inches wide. So it's not too big of a spread. So most of my corals are in the middle. So I think the ones that have worked, but I still like the idea of it being more flat and even everywhere.
Yeah. If you look at BRS, they did a comparison of the Gen 3 to the Gen 4, and you can see a massive difference.
Yeah. I was
It's
talking.
kind of like the Kessel A360 and the AP700 of difference.
Yeah. Okay. I was talking to a guy from Ecotech about it actually, and he was kind of like obviously they do have a lot of nice features, but whether or not it would actually grow better and stuff, I mean they're still kind of too new to 100% safe for sure. But there's definitely, I don't know, there's definitely some good potential there. But that nice even par is more T5-ish in a way, right? Which is
Yeah.
kind of a proven thing. It's kind of funny, like, because a lot of the LEDs and stuff, they're essentially just trying to mimic like the T5s, the halides. Like they're essentially doing everything they can to get closer to what that was.
Yeah,
Well,
but
if
they're
you
they're
guys,
rated way to like the power that they provide to those lights are way beyond what T5 or metal halides are capable of doing, and I think
Yeah.
that's what
um,
I don't understand about
Hmm.
any of the LEDs. That's fine if you want to make it. Well, we're talking about Ecotech or Radion. That's
Yep.
fine. But if you're trying to do that, then why are you? Why is there so much power behind them? You don't need. You would never use that much power in these light fixtures unless you're, 20, 30, 40 inches off the water.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And the further you are away from them, I have noticed, the better off you are when it comes to LEDs. It's a
Yep.
more spread out par.
Yep.
but
No, that's true.
if any of you guys were on my yesterday stream, I'm trying to bring something new to the entire hobby, a new light um, that has replaced metal halides in the agricultural sense. Um, because they use half the power, produce half the heat,
Hmm.
but produce the same par and penetration and even better um, bounce around of light than metal halides. They're called light emitting ceramics.
Whoa.
It's called a LEC, and I've been talking to the manufacturers of the LEC, and I also contacted the regional manager for Philips Innovations because they're the ones that create the bulb for the LEC.
Huh.
So the problem is the only Kelvin of light that they have for that LEC right now is 3100 Kelvin and
Oh, this is very warm.
4200 Kelvin. So I've been talking to them to try to get them to make a 14K. If
Hmm.
they're able to do that, I think it would completely change the game for hobbyists and businesses because it
So it's like a halide looking bulb, eh?
it
Like,
is. It looks
yep.
just like a halide bulb, but it has
Hmm.
twice the lifespan. So it
Yep.
has 20,000 hour lifespan on the light bulb.
Hmm.
Deterioration only starts at 8,000 hours.
Hmm.
So it's much better than a metal halide bulb.
Huh.
It
Yeah.
uses 315 watts, but outputs 730. And it literally produces a little less than half the heat a metal halide does.
Hey,
Hmm.
So that would be a
that's what we
big,
need.
big change for people. You know what I mean? To be able to get
Hmm.
the growth and coloration of metal halides,
Do you,
but
do you think, not to cut you off, do you think if that was an option,
yes.
do you think they would have done that by now as long as metal
No,
halides has
LECs
been
came out
around?
6 months ago.
Huh?
LECs came out, the newer version of the LEC
No,
came
no,
out
no, no, no,
six
no, no,
months
no, no.
ago.
Yeah, not that. Just the fact of what you were saying. Do you think that they would have done that a long time ago before even LEDs started?
Yeah, but I'm just saying the technology of LEC is young itself. They haven't thought about introducing it into the marine scene. You know what I mean? And
So
that's
what
what
is
I've
it
been
just
talking to
in
them.
for? Is that just for grow lights, like hydroponic lights then, as
Yes,
of
so
right
right
now?
as of right now, every single warehouse I know of has switched from metal halides to these because they're much more cost effective. Like that's the biggest point, because you produce less heat, you produce more power, and you change out the bulbs like a lot less often, which is a big difference. And that's why I've been talking to the manufacturers of this light. And yesterday I got into contact with the regional manager for Philips. So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully they'll be able to make an actual 14K bulb, and we would be able to put that over our reef tanks at that point, because that's a Kelvin that's good for coral. You know what I mean?
Well, from 14 to 20, but depending on, but yeah. I mean, they would have to make not even a 14. They would have to come out with a 20K, because majority of the hobbyists prefer a lot more of a bluer look, because it just sets the corals off.
Yeah, I understand that, but even if they were able to do a 14K more for a business perspective, you can always add a Reef Bright strip to it. You know what I mean, for the blue.
You could,
True.
you could.
I do understand you. When I did write them the email, I said a 14 and a 20K bulb. If you guys can possibly create that, you would revolutionize the industry. You would
Yeah,
definitely
because
become a game
I
changer.
would personally go back to metal halides if that
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
case.
It's LEC. It's not even the metal halide, brother. I feel you, because I would too. I would instantly do that, and I think a lot of people would also.
The only downfall still I find too, like my big preference for LEDs is a part of it for the aesthetics of it and how small it is. Where
Yeah,
Yeah.
halide, I mean, there is some sleek halide fixtures, but the majority of them are like a big industrial looking metal thing.
yeah. The LEC fixture does not look good,
Hmm.
um, because it has that dome shape. Because the difference between that as well, the halides, they would hang the light horizontally, correct, inside of the fixture.
Yep.
The difference with the LECs, it's not hung horizontally, it's hung vertically, and it's
Hmm.
inside of the reflector dome.
Oh, it's vertically. Okay.
Yeah, so
Well, here's another thing. A lot of people want. Pretty is not always what's best. Too. Um, you know, at the end of the day, metal halides, even for me, I mean, my corals haven't bat an eye, but they probably 30% less of what the metal halides uh, do for me. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
the cost of replacing bulbs that are $80 a piece on three, and the electric bill and everything else, kind of okay. I accept the probably 30% growth loss or anything else, but at the end of
Yeah.
the day, if they ever came back with something like that, I don't care how pretty or not pretty it looked,
right,
because
I'm right
you
there
know what I
with
mean. I'm going to grow corals
you. Amen.
clearly up out of my
Yeah.
tank, and
Yeah.
because that's what I normally do when it comes
Hmm.
to those things. They're thicker, full of branches. The branches are thick, not, I mean, it's just amazing what metal halides are to in this industry versus anything else,
Yeah.
It
including
also
T5s.
it also depends on your goal too, right? Like if you're growing corals just to sell it, and you don't care
No,
what
no,
your
no,
tank looks like,
no, no,
that's
no, no,
different
no, no,
than
no.
in your living room in the, I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no. That was
Okay.
just for my personal tank.
Yeah.
Remember, I
Hmm.
yeah, I sell flags because I have no choice, because I grow them like a weed at that too. Outside of me buying corals, more corals to sell for people, to people. But before I even did this, I mean, I had tons of corals, and but those those lights is just to grow them fast. And I wouldn't even use a 14K, and I never used a 14K to grow my corals fast. I
Hmm.
use 10K. The light's not even appealing to your eyes, but it'll grow the hell out of the corals.
Mhm.
It would grow the corals fast and thick, and then I'll worry about coloring up later. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
So,
mean, I
so
can see you saying that for a business aspect. Yeah, that's
mhm.
true too for a business aspect if you want to frag. But for my personal tank, I've always wanted to grow the frags quick and I didn't care about color. Anytime I stacked the tank full of frags, I wait till the tank was had a bunch of them in there, and then I hit them with 10Ks and let them start growing. You know, it's more of a yellow light spectrum, but it grows them
Mhm.
real nice, fast.
That's true. I haven't actually tried
And
the warmer spectrums like that, but I have heard that from a few people. It doesn't look as
and
pretty,
the
but
crazy
you
thing,
get
Rico,
growth, just not color.
the crazy thing about those LECs, Rico, they provide better light bounce. So your reflection, like your undersides, are even better than metal halides. It hits the undersides even better than metal halides.
I would have to experiment with that one. That's throwing that's that's a hell of a statement to make about that one.
That's well, underwater. I'm not sure how it would act, but in what my profession was before I sold.
Right, right.
And we did our tests, and we were seeing up to 15 to 20% more light under the canopies compared to regular metal.
How's that possible when that's normally based on a nice hooded light fixture? Like, you know,
It's based off of how the light is positioned itself instead of being horizontally to vertically, and based off of how the LEC reflector works as well as the light being in the center of the reflector being hung vertically, and the
right.
light that's because in a regular metal halide, you got half of the bulb facing the reflector and half going straight into your tank, right? Or straight outside. With this,
Yeah.
it doesn't have that half. All of the light that's coming out in a 360-degree manner is hitting the reflector, and the reflector is shooting out and bending the light a lot better than it was with only half of that being done.
But it also makes me believe that you would create more of a hot spot, meaning more directional light versus a wide angle light, like more of a even dispersed.
Not
Uh,
so much. We did the testing, and there's also been a lot of studies done with expensive equipment at many of the bigger agricultural facilities. And literally, if you look into facilities right now, they have all switched to LEC. Everyone has switched because it's just it's better, much better in every aspect. The light is better, produces more par for less power, and produces less heat and full light.
I would love to see that might be for above water and whatnot in shops and stuff. But I'd like to see that actually in a reef tank because I mean I ain't here to bust no balls, but from my understanding in the years of doing this, that would be some shit. That would have been some shit that they should have, thought of or have thought of or maybe thought of even years and years ago. But at the end of the day, I would love to see that actually in a reef tank and see if you would get the exact same effects
Me
as
too, brother, and that's
what
why
they're
I
claiming.
have been talking to them, and I'm trying to get them to make the bulbs, and I will be the first person to test it. I will be the first one. They make me one
Oh,
bulb.
I'll be the second one. Literally, I'll be the second one to test it on a tank full of
I'm gonna go
acro.
to my tank.
I would test it.
I will do that shit all day because it's if they can make that bulb and it does what it does, if it does the same effects or even close to the effects what it does above water in the water, it's done deal.
Mhm. I think it'd be really interesting to have, if you had, like a nice big long tank, have it on half a tank and have another LEDs and just try like different lightings on the exact same tank, same water, frag a same colony and spread it all out and kind of compare how the growth is and how the colors are. Like, I think that'd be awesome to do one of these days and kind of see the actual
I
differences.
would go out
Yeah.
to my garage, go grab one of the 400-watt metal halides, put it on
Hmm.
one side, use and put a frag in the exact same. You put out the par meter, put it
Hmm.
in the exact same spot, put one on the other side under one of
Yeah.
those, and see the
Hmm.
difference under the exact same supposed to be par. I would love to see that.
Me too. I think that'd
I
be
would do it.
awesome.
I'll do it. I
Rico, as soon as they tell me that they'll make the bulb, I will let you know as soon as they tell me, because it does use a different ballast than metal halides, and the fixture is a little different too. If you look on Google, just type in LEC, and you will see that even the hood looks completely different, and you'll see why I'm saying, because you know the reflectors that Mike Paletta uses over his 300,
The what?
the reflectors for the metal halides,
Yeah,
those
yeah. You
big
can't
old
even buy those no
dome
more.
ones. Yeah, so that's the type of reflector that they actually use for the LEC, and instead of the light being hung horizontally inside of that reflector, it's hung vertically. Because at the very tip of the bulb, like the front part tip of the bulb, you get very little light that comes out at that point. The main light that comes out of metal halide lights and the LEC lights is that 360 degrees around where those phosphors are being active. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I don't understand when horizontal versus vertical. I mean, only thing I see is a light beam versus dispersed lighting. Like
It is dispersed.
realistically, it's like taking a long metal halide, say light that you buy at a store, the same design,
Yeah.
and an actual mag light. I mean, the mag light's going to be more of a focus beam versus from the other flashlight that's long. Um,
So with the metal
I still
halide,
don't get it.
with a
Yeah.
metal halide with a Sun Systems reflector, right? For I'm not talking about the reef stuff. I'm talking about horticultural, agricultural. So a Sun System metal halide hood covers a 3 foot by 3 foot area. Now the LEC, being even smaller and more compact than that hood, covers a 4 by 4 area. So it's actually got more spread than the regular metal halide. It
But
was
who has a 4 foot by 4 foot system usually?
no,
I mean,
I know what you're saying.
so
But that's
yeah.
at 3 feet above whatever you're doing, 3.5, 4 feet. So the closer you bring it, the less the spread. Um, but as I was saying, that's why I'm trying to get them to create something more for marine. You know,
Well,
a
it would
hood
have to
for marine.
be, and then by you saying that, it would have to be controllable because you wouldn't want that kind of fucking light that close if that's the case to the surface of the water. Even metal halides ain't no
Too.
joke, and it's still going to produce some type of heat on that ball
Yeah.
to do what it's doing.
Oh yeah.
It's going to burn hot as hell. You're going to be able to cook
But
breakfast on that ball.
it's
I guess
still half the heat produced as a metal halide. That's why I'm saying I'm talking to the guys for them to
Yeah.
create something that's more for the marine scene. You know what I
out of
mean?
curiosity, how's the power draw on them compared to, like, do they draw a
So
lot of juice,
a
or are they decently efficient?
315 watts power draw is equivalent to an 800 watt power draw metal halide.
Okay.
So most people that were running 1,000 watt metal halides,
Well, I was going to
um,
say that's, yeah, you were running those on 600 plus gallon systems.
yeah.
Huge
So
tanks.
that's how they kind of replaced it. They also have a 730 watt power draw system, but that's overkill. You know, I would look more towards the 315 watt being more viable for the reef scene.
But what does that come out to on 150 watt or 250 watt metal halide? What's the power draw on those? Because I
This
don't know off the top of my head.
for 150 watt metal halide, the power draw is 200 watts.
Okay, so see what I'm saying? Or what about a 250?
250 would be a 300 to 310 watt power draw.
So once again, you can still use metal halides unless you're running 400 watters, which really I didn't have to run on even on my 300 main display. That's just what I choose to run. And I could run 250s
No,
on there.
I definitely feel you on that. It's just something new. You know what I mean? And it's more efficient than a metal halide. It's 20,000 hours of lifespan on a bulb, Rico. That's huge compared to metal halides.
Yeah,
That's
but
massive.
but I would definitely have to see that because yeah, metal halide bulb, yeah, it will, you know, lose or start to lose its, over time. But
Yes.
how many hours? Okay, if I change them out, usually I changed out my metal halide bulbs uh, once a year, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, versus T5 every 6 to 8 months. And I still think
Mhm.
even T5s are very prematurely. But when you're using a par meter, you know where it's at,
Mhm.
and at the end when to change. So you have to have a par meter for that,
Yeah.
just so you can see the droppage or whatnot. But how many hours do you think, especially somebody like me that runs, when it came to metal halides, 10 hours a day, and my blues 12 hours a day?
Hmm.
10 hours a day over
So
365 days comes out to what?
so this was the difference between the metal halides and the LECs. In the industry I was in, we would run them 12 hours a day, right? 12 hours on, 12 hours off every single day.
Uh huh.
Mhm.
At that much usage, you would start seeing par drop at around 6 months when you're using them 12 hours a day. But you could get a year out of those bulbs, out of the metal halides. The
Oh yeah.
LECs, you would only start seeing a par drop a year and a half in.
I guess the
So
other
you could
question,
you can get 2 years out of that one bulb.
hey
Dep-
52,
Yes,
how you said they were more efficient with they didn't produce as much heat too?
yes.
Because that was my other kind of
So
curiosity thing. Because I know, like, same thing with halides and stuff. A lot of people you got to worry about chillers if you're
so
running
a 400
high.
watt a
Yeah.
400 watt metal halide without air cooling produces 1350 BTU. Okay, without air cooling. With air cooling, cut that in half. So say 650 BTU if it's air cooled.
Hmm.
Um, Now the LEC produces half of that.
Except when it comes to a 250-watt bulb or
Yeah,
under.
yeah. So,
So you
except
can
that,
still,
but if
yeah.
they're able to create a 150 watt LEC, that'd be even better than those. You know what I mean? Because right now there's only two options for LEC for power wise: 315 watts and 730 watts.
I,
You know what I
I'm,
mean? And
I, I, I get what
So,
you're saying. I'm not trying to bust your balls. I just think it's
yeah,
far,
it's
far away
something new.
from
It's
anything right now, anytime soon. So
yeah.
I
So,
I
50,
possibly think if I'm talking right now with the Philips guys and the creators of the LEC system itself, um, if they see that there's money in it, which I kind of let them know, like, hey guys, you know what? Look at Kessel. Those guys were grow lights, because that's something Nick pointed out to me when I was talking to him. Like, hey, let them know that Kessel was grow lights before, and that kind of passed my mind. They
mhm,
were grow lights before, and now they're in the marine scene. Making the Kessel A160, A360, the AP 700s, and even Philips themselves. They created the Coral Care LED. So that's definitely, I think, a viable option for them. And I'm thinking they're doing some research, and we might make a move on it. As I said, I'll be the first one to freaking test that shit, dude. I don't care because I know it works in other applications way better than metal halides. And if we can get even near the same results in marine
mhm.
applications, it'd be done and over with.
I'm sure it'll happen eventually. I mean, it'll definitely take time for that to develop that technology to bring to the proper spectrums and everything else for the hobby. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Bay Area was asking a minute ago, or someone in the chat is, what's your favorite LED light, or what do you think are the best LED lights right now?
Best is
Yep,
gonna be the GHL Mitras.
GHL Mitras.
Yes.
I think that's one I
The
looked up a little while
L7.
ago.
Yeah, it's
LED,
basically
best LED light, Ocean Revive for the fucking price, hands down. I don't care.
for
Ocean
price, hell
Revive.
yeah. Nah, to get the job done, Ocean Revives, hell yeah. But if you want that controllability, the sleek look, um, GHL me trust.
Thing is, people with ocean revives, you can make them controllable if you really want to. They do sell the thing to make them controllable. I don't know if
Huh.
people know that.
For $200, yeah.
But
Okay, I see your point on that one.
Right?
Cheap.
okay, and
They're not pretty,
honestly,
but they're
you
cheap.
can get them for, and I can get them for you for actually $160 a piece. To be honest,
Yeah.
so for that price and all the corals, all the acros, I got hands down. Ain't nobody touching ocean revives outside, even outside of not having out the box controllability. They
What's
work
in, what's on your tank, Rico?
for ocean revives.
Really, eh?
That's it. No, I just put T5s on, just some core pluses on. But before all that, for the past year and a half, 2 years, it's been ocean revives.
Hmm.
I got 10 of them. I own 10 of them. So
You really like those babies. I've been debating what to use for a frag tank. I'm gonna convert a chamber of my sump into a frag tank. So
yeah.
I've never actually even heard of Ocean Revive. I may have heard of them, but I've never actually looked at them. So I'll dig into those a bit more.
Listen.
Are the ocean revives similar to the Evergrow ITs?
I have no idea.
The Evergrow ITs look like, I'm just looking at a picture of the
They look
Revives.
like tiny black boxes or what they call shit boxes. I don't know. That's what they remind me of.
Yeah. The
ITs, they
I
brought a
did a
new one
review on the IT
out.
ones, and it was actually a pretty nice, sleek little fixture for the price. They do look similar-ish.
Yeah, 'cause the
Ideally,
Evergrows,
it'd be
the
nice.
ITs was the 20s. They've brought the 50s out now, and they
Yeah.
look pretty good.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get in
Maybe
trouble. I left my live stream to come over here for a minute.
you're so
For
kind.
sure, man.
I
The
just mentioned I'd
revives
give
are
you back in a few
great
because I got to
ones.
run soon.
All right.
Yeah, I know. Ideally, I'd love to have another XR15, and so all my lights match, so the corals would be no shock moving stuff
I would.
around.
I
But
mean, personally, I mean, since
yeah,
you already got your system already up and running like that,
hmm
I'd probably just go that route. Me personally,
yeah, hmm
seriously. I mean,
I
it's
know.
no sense of you going outside the box like that on your system because I
It's not.
really like your system, but I wouldn't. I would just stick to what you got. You know it
Yeah,
works. So
it's true. I just like the idea of not having the corals get shocked or any change. Just match the same par in the tank and the sump. And
yep.
the other thing I was thinking, actually, I could run it almost like a fuge and run the frag tank on reverse light cycle to balance out the pH a bit more.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, it's like, cool. I know it, eh?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
It,
I hate to do this, but I do have to run out of town for some families in town, so I gotta cut her short. But thanks everybody for hopping on, and thanks Rico from coming joining my stream from your stream.
Thank you, brother.
yeah,
Yeah,
I wasn't
thanks
sure. I'm
50K.
like, what happened? Did I piss ReefDude off or what? No.
No, this is scheduled. I'm gonna try and do every Wednesday from 4 to 6-ish my time. So if
Okay.
anyone still
Well,
needs their stream fixed, jump over to Rico's.
yeah. No. So I know if that's what you want to do. So
Yep.
I could give you the courtesy and have everybody on yours at that same time. At that
Very
time,
kind.
and then after you, then I'll bring them back over.
Very kind of you, good sir. It's usually about the time your stream ends, actually, so it could work out. Till you got to renew your chat.
Just let me know though if I forget. Just send me a message to stop in my live stream and say, "Hey, I got a schedule." I'll shut it down.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I was trying to pick a day when there wasn't too much going on. So Wednesdays in the middle of the week seemed like the one of the
all
better
right.
ones. Cool. All right.
Good.
Thanks
All right,
everybody.
bud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Later, brother.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Everyone does.